The strange encounter. The diner was almost empty that night. Outside, the spaceport city was glowing with neon lights and buzzing airships. Inside, only a few tired workers and travelers sat quietly, finishing their meals. The sound of clinking glasses and soft music filled the air. The human waiter, named Daniel, moved from table to table. He was young, ordinary, and dressed in a simple white shirt and black vest. For him, tonight was just another boring shift. He served drinks, wiped the counter, and waited for the clock to reach closing time. But then, the door of the diner opened. The sound of the city rushed in for a second before it closed again. A girl stepped inside. At first glance, she looked human. She wore a long dark coat, her hair falling like silver threads. But her eyes were different. They glowed faintly, like twin stars hidden under shadows. Daniel noticed her immediately. She didn't move like the others. Every step she took was slow, careful, like she was searching for something. The few customers in the diner turned their heads, curious but cautious. The girl ignored them all and walked straight toward Daniel. "Good evening," Daniel said politely, forcing a smile. "Table for one?" The girl didn't answer. Her glowing eyes locked on him, like she was studying every detail of his face. Daniel felt a shiver run down his spine. He tried to laugh it off. Do you want a menu?" Still no answer. Instead, the girl suddenly reached out and grabbed the collar of his shirt. Daniel froze, shocked. The entire diner went silent. The customers gasped. Some raised their hollow devices to record. "Hey, what are you doing?" Daniel asked, panic rising in his voice. But before he could stop her, the girl pulled hard. With one swift motion, she tore open his shirt. The sound of fabric ripping echoed through the quiet diner. Daniel stumbled back, clutching at his chest. Everyone stared. The torn shirt revealed his bare skin, and under the dim neon light, something strange appeared. A faint glow, like a hidden mark, shined on the left side of his chest. The girl's eyes widened. Her glowing pupils reflected the mark. Her lips trembled as she whispered, "Impossible." Daniel looked down, confused and horrified. "What the hell is this? What are you talking about?" The mark pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat of light. It was shaped like a spiral with sharp edges, something no tattoo could match. Daniel had never seen it before. He touched it, thinking it was some trick of the light. But the glow didn't vanish. The girl's grip on his torn shirt tightened. "You carry the signal," she whispered, her voice trembling with both fear and awe. Daniel didn't understand a word of it. "What signal?" "Lady, you're scaring me." The customers started whispering to each other. Some laughed nervously, thinking it was a prank. Others whispered rumors about aliens and secret experiments. But no one dared to step closer. Daniel's heart was pounding. He was just a waiter. He had lived his whole life on this planet, working small jobs, paying bills, dreaming of nothing bigger than a stable future. And now a strange girl was telling him something that made no sense. "Listen," Daniel said, pulling away from her grip. "I don't know who you are, but this, whatever this is, it's not real. Maybe it's some trick, some projection." But the girl shook her head slowly. "No trick, no lie. You are not what you think you are." Her words cut deep. Daniel wanted to laugh, to deny everything, but the glowing mark on his chest betrayed him. The girl's eyes softened, but her voice stayed firm. "I searched many years across many stars, and finally, I found you." Daniel's mouth went dry. "Found me? For what? I'm just a normal human." The silence in the diner grew heavier. Every eye was on him, waiting for an explanation. Daniel felt like the ground was falling beneath his feet, but the girl leaned closer and whispered a final word in his ear, a word that no human in the diner understood. But Daniel felt it like thunder in his mind, and in that moment, he realized nothing in his life would ever be normal again. The shocking discovery. The diner was no longer just a place for food. It had turned into a stage, and Daniel was standing at the center of it. His torn shirt revealed the glowing spiral mark, pulsing faintly like it was alive. Everyone was staring, holding their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The alien girl's voice broke the silence. "You are carrying the signal," she said again, her tone low but certain. Her glowing eyes reflected the strange light on his chest. "It is impossible, but it is here." Daniel shook his head quickly, his voice sharp. No, this isn't real. I've never seen this before. I don't even know you, and you just ripped my shirt open in front of everyone." His voice cracked with panic. He tried to laugh, tried to push the moment away like a bad dream. But his laugh sounded hollow, empty. The girl ignored his protests. She reached her hand toward the mark, her fingers trembling. The closer she came, the brighter the spiral glowed. Gasps spread through the diner. A child hiding behind his mother whispered, "It's like magic." When her fingertips touched the mark, Daniel felt a jolt run through his body. It wasn't pain. It was like an electric heartbeat. For a second, he saw flashes in his mind. Strange skies, burning stars, cities made of crystal towers, and a giant door floating in the middle of space, sealed with the same spiral mark. He staggered back, clutching the counter for balance. What was that?" he shouted, his voice breaking. The girl's glowing eyes softened, but her words carried weight. "The memory of your blood. It responds to me because I know it's truth." Daniel shook his head violently. "No, I'm not special. I'm not some chosen one. I'm just a waiter. You hear me? A waiter." His words echoed in the diner, half anger, half desperation. The girl's voice grew steady, almost commanding. "You carry the bloodline of the lost house. It was believed destroyed long ago, but the signal never lies. The mark has awakened on you, and now others will know. They will come for you." Her words froze Daniel in place. "Others will come for you." That single sentence was enough to turn his fear into dread. The customers in the diner were whispering louder now. "Lost house. Bloodline? She's crazy," one man said. Another muttered, "No, I've heard rumors. The signal is real, some kind of alien key." Someone else laughed nervously. "Or maybe it's just a glow-in-the-dark tattoo." Daniel wanted to believe the last one. He wanted it to be a trick, a prank, anything but the truth. But deep inside, the flashes in his mind told him otherwise. That giant sealed door, that strange sky, they felt real, not like imagination. Something was waking inside him, something that terrified him. The girl leaned closer, lowering her voice. "You don't understand yet, but that mark is not only a signal. It is a key, and if the wrong hands get it, your entire world will burn." Daniel's heart was pounding so fast it hurt. His hands shook as he tried to cover the glowing spiral with what was left of his torn shirt. He wanted to disappear, but the girl's words pinned him down like chains. "Why me?" he whispered. "Why would I have this thing? I'm nobody. It don't matter." The girl's expression shifted, part sadness, part respect. "You were hidden. Your blood was mixed with human lines to protect you. They wanted you safe, away from the war. But destiny does not sleep forever. Now, it has found you again." Daniel's lips trembled, his throat dry. He wanted to argue, to deny, to push her away. But deep inside, he knew this was no mistake. The flashes he saw weren't lies. They were pieces of a truth he had never asked for. The customers around them had started recording openly now. Hollow screens floated above the tables, streaming the scene live. Daniel didn't notice, but somewhere beyond the diner, signals were already being picked up. Other eyes, far more dangerous, had seen the glow too. The girl suddenly tensed, her head snapping toward the door. Her glowing eyes narrowed. "They're here," she whispered. Daniel's stomach dropped. "Who's here?" he asked, his voice barely audible. The girl didn't answer. She reached for his wrist and held it tightly. Her grip was strong, far stronger than a human's. Her eyes stayed on the diner door. Every second stretched longer than the last. The mark on Daniel's chest pulsed again, brighter than before. The light painted the diner in a faint spiral glow. The girl whispered only 2 words, "Get ready." And then the door burst open. The hidden truth. The diner door slammed open with a metallic bang. Everyone jumped in their seats. Some even dropped their hollow devices. 2 figures stepped inside, tall and armored, their helmets glowing with thin red lines. They didn't look like customers. They looked like hunters. Daniel's first thought was that they were after the strange girl. But the way their helmets turned, the way their scanners locked on him, it made his blood run cold. The girl whispered under her breath. Too fast, they tracked the signal already. Her grip on Daniel's wrist tightened. Stay close to me, she warned, her glowing eyes sharp and fierce now, no longer soft. The taller hunter raised a weapon that hissed with blue light. Subject confirmed. A distorted voice came through the helmet. Signal carrier identified. Daniel froze. They're talking about me, he thought. His chest felt heavy, as if the glowing spiral mark was pulling him into a nightmare he couldn't escape. The girl stepped in front of him, her coat shifting as if hiding something beneath. You will not take him, she said firmly, her voice steady like a blade. The hunters didn't flinch. One aimed at her, the other at Daniel. For one breathless second, the entire diner stood still. Then the girl moved, faster than Daniel could follow. She knocked the table aside and kicked the weapon out of the hunter's grip. The blast of blue light shot into the ceiling, scorching metal and sending sparks down. People screamed, rushing toward the back exits, leaving their food and drinks behind. Daniel stumbled back, his mind spinning. He had never seen anyone move like that. The girl fought with precision, every strike heavy but controlled. She wasn't just strong, she was trained. One hunter crashed into a wall, denting it. The other lunged at her with a glowing blade. The girl blocked it with her arm, and to Daniel's shock, her skin shimmered for a split second. Beneath her human-like flesh was something metallic, something alien. Daniel's breath caught. She's not even human, he whispered. The girl pushed the hunter back, sending him tumbling across the counter. But she didn't chase him. Instead, she turned to Daniel, her glowing eyes softer now, even while chaos raged around them. You need to know, she said quickly, her voice low but urgent. That mark on your chest. It is not a curse, it is a key. Daniel shook his head, panic filling his voice. You already said that. I don't understand what it means. She leaned closer, speaking fast. It is connected to the Lost Gate, a door built before your Earth had cities. A door that only answers to the bloodline of the last royal house. Daniel's throat went dry. A royal house? Me? No, that's insane. But then the flashes returned. The strange skies, the crystal towers, the floating door in space. He could see them again, stronger this time. He staggered, clutching his head, his vision swimming. The girl steadied him. Your blood remembers, even if your mind does not, she said. The hunters were already recovering, standing up again, their weapons humming with power. One snarled through the voice filter. The carrier belongs to the Dominion. Hand him over or burn with him. The girl's eyes flashed. She didn't back down. Instead, she said something that made Daniel's stomach twist. If they take you, they will open the Lost Gate. And when that door opens, Earth will not survive. Daniel's entire world seemed to tilt. He was just a waiter. How could he suddenly be linked to some ancient galactic door that could destroy his planet? His voice broke as he shouted. Why me? Why this? I didn't choose any of this. The girl's voice was sharp, but almost kind. No one chooses their blood, Daniel. But you must choose what to do with it. Before Daniel could respond, the hunters attacked again. The girl pushed Daniel behind a shattered counter and leapt into the fight once more. Plates shattered. Neon lights burst, sparks rained from broken wires. The battle was chaos, but all Daniel could see was the faint glow of the spiral on his chest. It was pulsing harder now, brighter with every second. Like it was awake, like it wanted something. Daniel pressed his hand against it, whispering in fear. What are you? What do you want from me? And for a moment, he swore he felt it answer. Not in words, but in a deep vibration that shook his bones. Like a locked door rattling against chains. Like something waiting, something desperate to be opened. The girl smashed one hunter through the window, glass exploding into the street outside. The second hunter aimed at Daniel, but before the shot could fire, the spiral mark on his chest blazed with light. The energy burst filled the diner, forcing the hunter back as if struck by an invisible wave. Daniel fell to his knees, gasping. The glow slowly faded, but the damage was done. Everyone had seen. Everyone now knew. Daniel wasn't just a human. The girl rushed back to him, pulling him up. Her eyes met his, firm but urgent. "There is no time left," she said. "They have your signal now. Others will follow, stronger than these two. We need to leave, or your planet will be the first to fall." Daniel's heart pounded so loud it drowned out everything else. He looked at the glowing spiral, then at the broken diner, then at the girl who wasn't human. And in that moment, he realized the truth. His normal life was over. Whether he wanted it or not, the universe had already claimed him. Danger approche. The diner was in ruins. Smoke drifted from shattered lights, sparks snapped from broken wires, and the smell of burning filled the air. The two hunters were down, but not destroyed. Their armor hissed and repaired itself, glowing red cracks slowly sealing shut. Daniel pressed himself against the counter, gasping for air. His chest still burned where the spiral mark had glowed with violent light. He looked at his hands, trembling. "What's happening to me?" he whispered. But no answer came. Only the faint pulse under his skin, steady and unrelenting. The alien girl grabbed his arm, pulling him up. "We have to move now," she said firmly. Her glowing eyes darted around the wrecked diner. "More will come. They always come when the signal awakens." Daniel shook his head, still dazed. "This doesn't make sense. Why me? Why tonight? I didn't ask for this." His voice cracked, loud enough for the few remaining customers to hear. Some were still hiding under tables, staring at him with wide eyes, as if he was a bomb about to explode. The girl's grip tightened, her tone sharp. "You don't need to ask. Your bloodline was hidden, but destiny cannot stay buried forever. The Dominion has been searching for you for years." Her words sent a chill through Daniel's spine. The Dominion. He had never heard the name, but it carried weight. Cold, merciless weight. The hunters twitched, their helmets flickering as systems rebooted. Their distorted voices growled in unison. Signal confirmed. Backup incoming. The girl's eyes widened. "They called for reinforcements," she whispered. Her face hardened. "If we stay, we die." She pulled Daniel toward the broken window. Glass crunched under their boots as they climbed out into the neon street. The city was alive outside. Air cars racing above, giant hollow screens advertising products, crowds moving in every direction. But now dozens of eyes turned toward the diner, drawn by the noise. Cameras floated, drones buzzed, and whispers spread like fire. The word signal was already moving from mouth to mouth, and Daniel realized something terrifying. It wasn't just the hunters who knew now. The whole city was beginning to know. The girl dragged him into a narrow alley between two glowing towers. Her voice was low but fast. "You need to listen, Daniel. Those hunters were scouts. The Dominion sends them first to test the target. If you had no signal, they would have left. But now that they know, they will send collectors. And if collectors fail, they will send destroyers." Daniel's breath caught. "Destroyers? As in they'll kill me?" The girl shook her head grimly. "No, Daniel. They won't just kill you. They'll erase everything connected to you. Your home, your city, your planet." The words hit him like a strike to the chest. He stopped walking, pulling his arm free from her grip. "No, stop, you're lying. This can't be real. I'm just some guy working in a diner. Why would anyone destroy a planet because of me?" The girl turned back, her silver hair catching the neon glow. Her voice softened for the first time. "Because the key inside you can open the lost gate. And behind that gate lies a weapon. A weapon strong enough to wipe stars out of the sky. The Dominion will burn 1,000 worlds if it means they can claim it first." Daniel's legs went weak. He leaned against the wall, his stomach twisting. He wanted to scream, but the sound wouldn't come out. Instead, he whispered, broken and afraid, "This is too big. I can't be that important. I can't." The girl stepped closer, her hand gently touching his arm. Her glowing eyes studied him. "I didn't expect you to be ready. I only expected you to exist. But the mark has awakened, Daniel, which means your choice will decide far more than your life. Before Daniel could answer, a sharp hum filled the alley. He looked up and froze. In the sky above the city, ships were descending, sleek black crafts with glowing red stripes. The crowd in the streets screamed, running in every direction. Sirens blared, lights flashed, chaos spread instantly. The girl's eyes narrowed. They came faster than I thought, she muttered. She grabbed Daniel's hand again, pulling him deeper into the alley. We can't stay in the open. If they lock onto you, it's over. Daniel stumbled after her, his heart hammering. Above them, one of the black ships released a swarm of drones. Each drone's scanner glowed red, sweeping the streets for a single target. Him. Daniel looked back once. The ruined diner was still visible behind them. The two hunters had climbed out, limping but alive. And when they saw the swarm of drones, they pointed in Daniel's direction. Carrier identified. Their distorted voices roared. The drones shifted instantly, their red lights focusing on the alley. Dozens of them buzzed forward like a cloud of angry insects. Daniel's blood ran cold. There was no hiding anymore. The whole city was about to see what he really was. The girl turned, her voice fierce. Run, Daniel. Run and don't stop. And together, they plunged into the shadows. With the swarm closing in and the first destroyer ship breaking through the clouds above. The escape. The alley shook as the swarm of drones closed in. Red scanner lights swept across walls, dumpsters, and panicked civilians. Each drone buzzed like a hungry insect, their engines sharp and restless. Daniel ran, his chest burning, every breath heavy. The girl was ahead of him, fast and focused, weaving through the shadows. She didn't stumble, didn't look back, only moved forward, pulling him with every step. But Daniel couldn't stop looking back. Behind them, the drones filled the alley like a glowing storm. Their red eyes locked on him, never on anyone else. They didn't care about the screaming crowd. They wanted him. Why me? He gasped. Why are they only after me? The girl answered without slowing down. Because only you shine in their scanners. The signal inside you makes you the brightest light in the dark. Her words only made his fear worse. He stumbled over trash cans, his legs shaking, but the girl pulled him back up, her grip unrelenting. You can't stop, Daniel. If they catch you, they don't just take you, they erase you. They burst out of the alley onto a wider street. Neon billboards towered above, glowing faces and products flickering across the skyline. Crowds of people ran in panic as the drones followed. Some shouted Daniel's name. The hollow streams from the diner had already spread. His face was flashing on giant screens across the district. Carrier confirmed, the captions read, and suddenly Daniel realized the whole city was hunting him now. The girl pushed him toward a side ramp that led down to an underground rail. Move, she ordered. But before they reached it, one drone dived, firing a beam of red energy. It struck the ground in front of Daniel, exploding concrete into shards. He fell backward, the sound ringing in his ears. The drone hovered above, its weapon charging again. Daniel raised his arms instinctively, shouting, "No!" The spiral mark on his chest blazed, brighter than before. A shock wave burst outward, knocking the drone into a building. It crashed, smoking and sparking. For a moment, silence followed. Only the faint hum of the mark remained. Daniel stared at his glowing chest in disbelief. I did that. The girl pulled him up roughly, her voice sharp. Not you, the mark. It's awake now, and it will act on its own if it senses danger. But every time it glows, more enemies can trace you. We must keep moving. Daniel swallowed hard. It wasn't just a curse. It was a beacon, calling his hunters closer every second. They rushed down the ramp into the underground. The air smelled of oil and electricity. Lights flickered, and the sound of trains echoed through the tunnels. Civilians were already pushing into the stations, trying to escape the chaos above. But when they saw Daniel glowing faintly under his torn shirt, whispers spread. Signal carrier. Is it him? Don't let him near us. Fear turned the crowd hostile. Some people backed away, others shouted insults. A man even tried to block their path. Get out. You'll bring the destroyers here. The girl didn't hesitate. She pushed the man aside with one arm. Her voice cold. Move or die. They don't care about you. They only want him. They ran onto an empty platform just as a train screeched to a stop. The doors opened, and they rushed inside. The car was mostly empty, only a handful of passengers inside. Daniel collapsed into a seat, gasping, his chest still glowing faintly through the torn shirt. The girl stood near the door, scanning the tunnels with sharp eyes. They'll follow, she muttered. The Dominion never lets the carrier slip. Daniel pressed his head into his hands, his voice breaking. This is insane. One night ago, I was just serving drinks. Now I'm what? A target? A key? A death sentence for my world. The girl turned to him, her voice softer now. You are more than a target. You are proof that the lost gate can still be opened. That means you're hope, Daniel. But to the Dominion, you're only a weapon they want to control. Her words sat heavy in his chest. Hope and weapon, two sides of the same spiral. The train roared through the tunnels, but suddenly the lights flickered. Passengers screamed as the car shook violently. From the windows, Daniel saw drones swarming the tunnels, flying alongside the train. Their scanners pressed against the glass, their weapons glowing red. The girl cursed under her breath. They found us. The drones began firing, beams slamming into the train walls, sparks flying. Metal bent, alarms blared, passengers screamed and ducked under their seats. Daniel gripped the seat, panic overwhelming him. They're going to tear this train apart. The girl's eyes glowed brighter. No, they want you alive, but they don't care how many others die in the process. She pulled a strange metallic device from inside her coat. It unfolded with a hiss, glowing blue lines stretching like wings. Daniel stared wide-eyed. What is that? She answered without looking at him. A way out. The train car shook harder as the drones prepared a breach. The girl grabbed Daniel's hand again, her grip fierce. When the doors blow open, don't think. Just run. Daniel's chest burned again, the spiral pulsing with restless light. He felt it humming in his bones like it was impatient, like it wanted to be used. And then, with a deafening blast, the doors tore apart. Drones swarmed inside, red lights flashing. Passengers screamed, and Daniel's mark erupted again, flooding the tunnel with blinding light. The revelation. The tunnel was drowned in white light. The drones froze in midair, their red scanners flickering. Passengers shielded their eyes, screaming. Metal warped, sparks flew, and then silence fell. When the light faded, Daniel was on the ground, gasping. His chest burned as if fire was etched into his skin. The spiral mark glowed faintly, still alive, still hungry. The drones that had stormed the train were gone. Only melted scraps lay on the floor, smoking. The passengers stared at Daniel in horror, whispering like he was a monster. They didn't thank him for saving them. They feared him. Daniel pushed himself up, clutching his chest. What's happening to me? He shouted, his voice echoing in the broken train. His eyes stung with tears. I'm not supposed to be like this. I'm not supposed to destroy things. The alien girl knelt beside him, her hand steady on his shoulder. Her glowing eyes were calm, but her voice was sharp. You didn't destroy them, Daniel. The mark acted in defense. It is alive in ways you cannot yet understand. Daniel shook his head. No, this isn't me. I was normal. Just a waiter. I served drinks. I paid rent. He cut himself off, his throat tight. The words felt meaningless now. The girl leaned closer, her tone soft but heavy. Listen to me, Daniel. That life was only a cover. The truth has always been inside you, waiting, and now is time you know. Before Daniel could respond, the spiral pulsed again. His vision blurred, his breath caught in his throat. He staggered back, pressing against the wall of the train, and then the flashes came. Not faint, not scattered this time, but overwhelming, flooding his mind. He saw a world not Earth, a world of silver towers under 3 suns. He saw people with glowing eyes like the girl, dressed in armor. He saw a great hall, a throne, and a family, his family. And then he saw fire, armies of black ships blotting out the sky. The throne room falling, his family destroyed. Daniel screamed and clutched his head. No, stop it. Get it out. The passengers shrank back, terrified. But the girl grabbed his face firmly, forcing him to look into her glowing eyes. Breathe, Daniel. What you see is memory, not madness. Is the bloodline inside you showing its truth? Her words cut through the storm in his mind. The visions slowed, fading into shadows. Daniel collapsed into her arms, shaking. Tears streaked his face. They were real, weren't they? Those people, that family, they were mine. The girl nodded slowly. Yes, you are not just a human waiter. You are the last descendant of the royal house of Lysera, the bloodline that once protected the galaxy, until the Dominion destroyed it. They believed your line was ended, but the mark proves otherwise. Daniel stared at her in disbelief. Royal house? Protector? That's insane. I'm not a king. I'm not a warrior. I'm nothing. The girl's expression softened. You are not nothing. You are what the galaxy has waited for. The signal in your blood can open the lost gate. And behind that gate lies a weapon your ancestors swore would never be used. A weapon so powerful it can end entire civilizations. Daniel's stomach twisted. So that's why they want me? Not for me, but for what I can open. The girl nodded. Yes, to them you are not a person. You are a key. But to me, you are proof that hope survived. I was sent to find you, and now that I have, we cannot waste time. Her words sank deep into him. Daniel felt the weight of it pressing down. Hope, weapon, bloodline? He didn't want any of it. He wanted his old life back, the small, quiet life that suddenly seemed priceless. But deep inside, he knew there was no going back. The passengers had already abandoned the train, fleeing into the tunnels. The girl pulled Daniel up, steadying him. We cannot stay here. The Dominion will send more. And next time, it won't just be drones. Daniel wiped his eyes, his voice shaking. I don't want this. I don't want to fight wars, or open gates, or destroy planets. I just want to be me. The girl held his gaze, her voice quiet but firm. Wanting will not change what you are. The only choice you have left is this. Will you run from it, or will you face it? Before Daniel could answer, the tunnel shook violently. Dust rained from the ceiling. The sound of engines roared. Through the broken train doors, Daniel saw shadows moving, tall, armored, glowing red. The girl's eyes narrowed. They're here, she whispered. Collectors. And as the tunnel filled with that heavy, suffocating sound, Daniel realized the truth. The revelation was not an ending. It was only the beginning of the nightmare. The choice, cliffhanger ending. The tunnel shook as the collectors marched closer. They were taller than the hunters, their armor black and sharp. Their helmets carried no faces, only glowing red lines like scars of fire. Each step they took echoed like thunder in the underground. Daniel felt his throat close. His knees almost buckled under the weight of their presence. He whispered, barely able to speak. Those aren't drones, are they? The alien girl shook her head slowly. No, these are collectors. They do not chase. They do not warn. They take. Her voice dropped lower, her glowing eyes locked on him. If they catch you, Daniel, they won't kill you. They'll rip the signal from your body, piece by piece, and you will live just long enough to feel every second of it. Daniel's heart pounded so loud he couldn't hear anything else. Panic filled his chest, but anger rose with it. He shouted, his voice breaking. Why me? Why does everything want me? I never asked for this life. The girl grabbed his face, forcing him to meet her eyes. You don't have time to ask. You only have time to choose. Do you run, or do you fight? The words slammed into him like a hammer. Daniel looked at his torn shirt, at the spiral glowing faintly underneath. He thought about the visions, the family, the fire, the throne, the gate. His entire body trembled. He didn't want to be a key. He didn't want to be a weapon. He just wanted to live. But behind the fear, something else stirred. A quiet whisper in his bones. A rhythm that matched the spiral's glow. Like the mark itself was speaking to him without words. You cannot hide. You cannot run. Choose. The collectors stepped closer, raising their weapons. Red light charged at their tips, humming with deadly energy. The girl raised her strange device again, its blue glow brightening the dark. But Daniel knew this wasn't her fight anymore. It was his. He clenched his fists, his voice shaking. I don't want this. But if I run now, it won't just be me they take. It'll be everyone. The girl's eyes widened. For the first time, she saw not fear in him, but something else. Resolve, fragile but real. The collectors fired. Red beams shot through the tunnel. The girl dove forward, pulling Daniel down, the blast scorching the wall behind them. Dust rained, sparks flew, alarms screamed. Daniel felt the spiral burn hotter. The glow spread across his chest, crawling up his arms like veins of light. He gasped, his body trembling as power surged through him. The girl shouted, "Daniel, control it, or it will consume you." But Daniel wasn't sure if control was even possible. The spiral pulsed faster like a second heartbeat. He saw flashes again, this time not of the past, but of the future. Worlds burning, skies splitting, the lost gate opening. A voice, deep and ancient, echoed in his mind. Decide, decide, decide. Daniel screamed, the light exploding from his body. The blast shook the tunnel, throwing the collectors back. Concrete cracked, rails twisted, the train itself split open. For a moment, everything was fire and light, and then silence. Daniel fell to his knees, smoke rising from his skin. The spiral dimmed, flickering like a dying flame. The girl knelt beside him, gripping his shoulders. Her voice urgent but low. You made your choice, Daniel. You didn't run. He looked at her, his voice broken. I didn't choose. It chose for me. Her glowing eyes softened, but fear lingered in them. Then you must learn fast, because now the Dominion knows you are not only the key. You are awake. The tunnel groaned as rubble collapsed behind them. The collectors were still alive, pulling themselves out of the wreckage. Their red eyes burned brighter, their voices mechanical and cruel. Carrier confirmed. Extraction required. No surrender. The girl pulled Daniel to his feet. Her voice fierce, her grip steady. This is not the end. This is the beginning. From now on, every star, every planet, every shadow will be watching you. You're the last of Lysera, Daniel, and your choice will decide if this galaxy burns or survives. The collectors raised their weapons again. The spiral pulsed one more time, and before the blast came, the screen went black.